Thank you so much for coming today. My name is Jeannie Strohmeyer. I am the president of the Canyon County Domestic Violence Task Force team, and we are here together to join in a stand against domestic violence and to declare and proclaim October to be Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And we have some special guests with us that I want to mention and thank them for coming. We have Nampa Mayor Debbie Kling, and we want to thank you for coming. We have Commissioner Leslie Van Beek and Commissioner Carrie Smith. Thank you so much for coming. And Ingrid there you go. Thank you so much for coming from the Canyon County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. We so appreciate Chief Deputy Marv Deschelle. Thank you so much for coming today. And for all of you that are here that are doing and working in this work and fighting the fight, thank you so much. I also just want to mention putting this together today was a lot of work from Alicia Bowles, and I want to thank her. There she is. She does a lot of this work, and we so appreciate it. I was just telling her she's so creative, and we just appreciate everything she does. We want to thank the Canyon County Deputies Sheriff's Association, Canyon County Sheriff's Office, the Nampa Family Justice Center, Advocates Against Family Violence, Canyon County Prosecutor's Office for all putting this all together. And I want to thank also Tricia Lofton for being here today. And there'll be a few people that'll be presenting. There'll be some videos that you're going to see. And I just want to mention the Canyon County Domestic Violence Task Force team provides a coordinated response to individuals impacted by domestic violence through collaboration, networking, and resources. That's our purpose. How do we help the workers do the work? What can we do to continue that work moving forward, as well as resources? What are the resources needed in our community to help the victims and survivors of abuse? So again, thank you for being here. I'm going to introduce Commissioner Carrie Smith to declare the proclamation for October. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thanks for coming. Growing up in a sheriff's home, I was constantly reminded of the effects of domestic violence on the victims, but also the heart and soul that our detectives and our victim witness coordinators put into the jobs that they do. So thank you for those of you that are here and supporting them. And events like this do shine the light and bring awareness. And so that's my goal, and I know that was the other commissioner's goals, and yours as well. So thank you for joining us. So I get to read now. Domestic Violence Awareness Month Proclamation. Whereas the month of October is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and whereas home should be a place home should be a place of warmth, love, tranquility, and security. However, each day in the state of Idaho, hundreds of victims of domestic violence and their children seek safety and services from community-based domestic violence program. And whereas domestic violence is a crime that transcends race, religion, age, ethnicity, and economic stature, and domestic violence has tremendous effects on our community, including the judicial system, healthcare systems, our schools, neighborhoods, family, and friends. And the Canyon County Domestic Violence Task Force is a coalition of organizations that continue to directly confront this crisis. Now, therefore, we, the Canyon County Board of Commissioners, take this time to remember those victims whose lives have been tragically taken, encourage and support survivors who have escaped abuse, and address the importance and value of community connectedness to prevent and respond to domestic violence. We do hereby proclaim October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month and encourage all Canyon County employees and residents to shine the light on the issue of domestic violence throughout the year, and especially in the month of October 2021. And so thank you for that, and thank you for being here. Just for the record, I think that we should wear purple all month. Let's get as much as we can and keep shining that light. So thank you. I want to introduce Mayor Kling with Nampa, and an incredible woman that is also going to help spread some love and light on these issues. So thank you for coming.
Good afternoon, or good morning, maybe it is. You know, as I look around, it's important to see faces. And I just want to say thank you. It takes every single person with passion, right, and care to make a difference. And I think one of the strengths of where we live in Canyon County is that we are a caring community, that we care for one another. And I just want to say thank you to our sheriff's office and the officers and the work that you do. Collaboration is important across outside of the city with the county and the work that we do, all working together. You know, this is a tough subject. My appreciation and my heart goes out to those that are working in it every single day, because it's not an easy topic. I said in a meeting just this week on sex trafficking, and I tell you what, for me, it's like, let's stop it. The same way with domestic violence, it's time that we put an end, but it's not that easy, is it? It's not quite that easy. I do want to say for in Nampa, we have the Nampa Family Justice Center. Advocates for Family Violence is housed here in Caldwell, and then all the great work that is done. I appreciate the fact that we're reaching outside of our city lines, right? It's not about Nampa, it's not about Caldwell, it's not just about the county, it's about all working together. As I say that, I will say that this morning when we did a proclamation at the Family Justice Center, I asked the question, what percentage of the clients are actually from Nampa versus not? And 20% last year and 24% this year of the people served at the Nampa Family Justice Center are not from Nampa, they're from Canyon County. And that's a larger percentage than I would have guessed, that 24%, and the numbers are higher this year. We're almost meeting at the end of August the same number of people served as we did last year. That's not a statistic that we want, right? We want to make a difference. And then there are other services that are provided that I just learned today, so I'm going to share them real quickly, and that is that they're the only agency in Canyon County doing the sexual assault and the DV exams at the hospitals. And the Child Advocacy Center, the child forensic interviews for children reporting abuse, and advocating for all petitioners who are going through civil protection order hearings. So that's done out of the Nampa Family Justice Center for the entire county. So I want to say thank you, but I want to say thank you to everyone for the work that you do. And I will say I am passionate, but you know what? It takes everybody to make a difference, right? It takes people. This month is so important just to raise the awareness so that people are willing to speak up and know that there is hope and that there is a place to go and that there is a confidential location, people that care about them, and agencies to support them. And that's what it's about. And so it's all working together. And for those of you in the room that are on the service side, thank you so much. Those that are in the room that have been a victim of domestic violence, my heart goes out to you. And I am so sorry. But you know what? I was looking at that screen earlier, and the changed lives and realizing, saying, yes, I can. My life is going to be different. I want to say good for you. I applaud you, and I wish you the best. So a big thank you to everybody that's involved in this initiative. And we're going to go out and we're going to keep raising the awareness of the importance of domestic violence. So thank you.
I feel like we get the pleasure of working with these ladies and watching them to become survivors, and the advocates and all the people that do this work in the room. That's the good stuff, man. Like, it's so fun. And recently I had an opportunity to read Candy's post on Facebook, and I messaged her quickly and said, Candy, can we use this? And so she had put the words that you see on the screens is a post that she had posted on Facebook. So Candy, I want to give you a minute to come up and talk about that.
Little seed, hide quietly beneath the weight of uncertainty. You used to grow here. You flowered all year. Little sprout pushing out beneath the weight of all this doubt. You don't get enough light to put up a good fight. Dig it up, plant it, let it grow. Dig it up, plant it, let it grow. The things I used to know, the things I used to know.
You'll have to forgive me. I do some public speaking, but my nerves are shot right now. Surviving domestic violence is a trial and a tribulation, but it can be done. And I pretty much proved that it can. I was involved in it for 22 years. So for me, coming out and surviving and proving to other survivors that it can be done is part of my journey to everybody else, that they don't have to live with it. So, and even today, I still have doubts in my mind on some things, but I work through things every day, and it's the only thing that I can do. So just remember, when you see a survivor or even a victim, they're still going through things. Always be there to give them support, and don't judge them for the times that they may fall back a little and want to cry. Just reach out and give them a hug. Be there to support them. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. So the next victim that we're going to highlight, her name is Susan. One of the reasons we highlighted Susan was that she not only went to the Nampa Family Justice Center, she was seen at CARES, she was seen at Hope's Door, she was served by the Canyon County Prosecutor's Office and Canyon County Sheriff's Office. So there were a million moving parts in her case. And so what we wanted to do is show you her journey, and this is in her words. Some of the pictures you'll realize we can't show you all of the pictures from her case, but you'll get a good feel, and she's just an amazing survivor. I have to tell you, when I first met Susan, she would not have been one of the ones I thought could do it. She was so low and felt so terrible about herself, and her kids were such a mess that I thought, I don't know that she won't go back. And we just kept pushing this gal along to do it, and I'm amazed now. So, Susan.
November 8, 2017 was a day I will never forget. My babies had been crying that day. My mother-in-law was upset the baby wouldn't stop crying. She grabbed my baby and shook her out of anger. When I tried to stop her, my husband got mad at me. I ran into the bedroom and shut the door. He broke into the bedroom door and grabbed me by my hair, started hitting me. I pretended to pass out to get him to stop. He still kicked me. I grabbed a slate from the baby's crib in case he came back, but he saw me and grabbed the slate out of my hand and held it over my throat, trying to strangle me. He told me if I ever took the kids from him, he would kill me. I am the mother of 4 children. I knew I had to get out. As soon as my husband and his mother were gone, I grabbed what clothing I could, put them in a black plastic bag, and took an Uber to the Family Justice Center with my children. I knew if I didn't leave, he would kill me or my kids. My children deserve a better life free of fear. So I left. Don't get me wrong, I was scared. I had no plans. I had no place to go, but once I found a way out, my body switched to autopilot just to run. When my children and I got to the Family Justice Center, they took us to a room. They had someone stay with my children. I could still see my children through a window, so I knew they were okay. I was in shock. The staff had called for help, and the police showed up. The officer was really tall but nice to me. I wasn't thinking that someone would be arrested. I was still in flight mode. When the sheriff's office came in, I seriously thought I was going to be in trouble. I thought I might be in trouble because there was a custody agreement, and my husband had told me repeatedly that my children would be taken from me if I left. I was so scared. My heart was pounding out of my chest, but at the same time, I knew if we stayed, someone would die. I was sure the police would not believe me. I was so scared that they were going to take my kids. Once the detective and victims witness coordinator sat down and started talking to me, they reassured me I wasn't going to lose my children, that I was protecting my kids by leaving. I had nowhere to go and I had no money, but I knew I needed help. The police asked me questions about what happened. I was in shock. The police took my children to CARES in Boise. My 7-year-old son, Colton, was a target by my husband. He had a black eye, and sometimes my husband would use a stun gun to hurt him. I would try to make my husband mad at me instead of mad at the kids, but that didn't work all the time. My husband wouldn't let my kids eat all the time and would make them stay in their room. They couldn't take warm showers, only cold ones. We never got to celebrate their birthday. I was always too scared to leave because I had nowhere to go. After we went to CARES, the sheriff's office took us to Hope Stores in Caldwell. They had a room for us. The first few days and weeks after I left, I was still in shock. It's a blur. I was safe at the shelter. The kids went from being scared to happy to out of controls at times. It was really hard, but we were safe at the shelter. We had food, warm water, and we knew we couldn't get hurt there. We were just so scared that we would have to go back and the abuse would be even worse than before. My son's birthday was 10 days after we moved into the shelter. The sheriff's office knew that my son really wanted to celebrate his birthday, so they helped me throw him a little birthday party. He finally didn't have to go without. The Canyon County Sheriff's Office believed me and helped validate me. I didn't think anyone would believe me when I left. I was so scared, but slowly the case manager and advocates, victim, witness, and detective and counselors, even the prosecutor helped me get out of the fear stage. My husband was finally in jail, being held accountable for what he had done to my children and myself all these years. Court was always difficult. The Canyon County Prosecutor's Office would talk to me and give me courage in court. The prosecutors and Sheriff's Office Victims Witness Coordinator were always there for me. They believed in me. They gave me the courage to stand up for my kids. I think my husband was surprised I was so strong. My kids looked up to me. I needed to be strong for them. I wanted them to know that it wasn't okay for anyone to abuse them. The court made sure my kids had a voice in the process too. It really helped them. The court made sure my kids had a voice in the process too. It really helped them feel like they mattered. It was really hard to find housing. At one point, we thought we could stay with the family to get back on our own. They wouldn't let us celebrate Christmas, and they sabotaged my vehicle. The sheriff's office was there again. The patrol team made sure we had a hotel room for a beautiful Christmas tree full of presents for the kids to open on Christmas morning. Then we were able to find a spot in another area and eventually our own apartment. Volunteers helped us by actually going shopping for our apartment. They helped us with beds, tables, chairs, and even a TV. They were amazing and helped us become self-sufficient. They had volunteer officers helping move. They helped me give my kids a home and a chance to stay away from violence. I'm not going to lie, it was hard work getting back on my feet. It took 2 years, but once you take that first step out the door, you're not alone. That is the key. I wasn't alone. The victims coordinator were right beside me, encouraging me when I was able to get my license for the very first time and getting my first vehicle, cheering me on when I got my apartment and decorated for the first time at Christmas. They were cheering me on when I found a great job, brought a new car. They were right there celebrating with me each step of the way. Even past the investigators and court, they were there. We knew we were not alone. I was fearful of traumatizing my kids by leaving, but I didn't realize how traumatizing they were by staying. Running is the key. Never look back. Step out that door is going to be the hardest part of it all. But after that, it's one step, one choice at a time that leads you to a better life. Domestic violence never is going to get better. Leaving is your only option. Don't listen to that person when they say they're sorry. They didn't mean to, or didn't even listen to that voice that is in your head that's telling you that it's your fault. Even if you have no place to go, you have no money, there's options. There is people and places that care. The NAMTA Family Justice Center, Advocates Against Family, Violence Cares, Canyon County Prosecutor's Office, Canyon County Sheriff's Office changed my life. They cared about me and my family and helped rescue my little family. Standing together is what defeated domestic violence, and we did it.
Leap, you say. Go on, take that leap of faith.
Well, good morning, everyone. As Jeannie introduced me, I'm Marv DeShiel. I'm the Chief Deputy of the Canyon County Sheriff's Office. The sheriff is out of town this week, so I've been asked to speak on behalf of the office. You're not going to see the black hat. You're not going to have any famous quote that Bunny is able to find for us. I've been in law enforcement at the Sheriff's Office for 31 years now. I've been on the Family Justice Center board for over a decade as well. So I've got to see a lot of the progress that we've been able to make. I was the investigations lieutenant in the office when we brought on our first victim witness coordinator in 2006, and now we have 2 victim coordinators that unfortunately have caseloads that keep them busy day and night. As I was preparing for this, I was thinking about the changes that we've gone through, the things we've seen during my career. Looking back, I've actually been in law enforcement now in 5 different decades. Some of you don't even know the 80s, but they did exist. So I looked up 2 different definitions as I was preparing for this. One was victim, and it was defined as a person harmed, injured, or killed as a result of a crime, accident, or other event or action. And then I looked up what we try to achieve, survivor. A person who continues to function or prosper in spite of opposition, hardship, or setbacks. It's unfortunate that we are going to continue to have victims, but thankfully we are seeing the majority of our interactions as a creation of survivors. We have the opportunity to obtain support and move forward in a positive way with their lives. I think these are 2 examples that we've just seen this morning. There's been a lot of changes in law enforcement and the approach to domestic violence throughout the years, but at the same time, we've seen many improvements in our training, our resources, and our continued opportunities to be involved. We have now a lot more advanced training opportunities for our law enforcement, for our prosecutors, for our victim witness coordinators, for our court advocates. We have many more partner agencies for resources, Family Justice Center, Advocates Against Family Violence, our community shelters, and our other community organizations. Those things didn't exist when I started in law enforcement. We have counseling and support groups that are doing amazing things with our survivors and giving them hope and giving them options into the future. Once again, things that didn't exist. In the past, way back, it was write a report, the prosecutor's gonna get it, we'll go to trial, and then figure out how your life's going to go on behind that. I think education, public awareness, and the reduction of the stigmatism of domestic violence has been very successful in assisting many of our involved parties. Having others that will speak up when they observe something wrong has also allowed for intervention to occur more rapidly and hopefully get to those in need and give them the resources and options that they deserve. We still have continued hurdles. Recently, the Clark decision out of Idaho took away some of our opportunities to be able to make probable cause arrests. Previously, we could go to a scene, we could evaluate the information and arrest somebody on a misdemeanor. Now we've had to work around and obtain telephonic warrants. It takes a little bit more time, but we're dealing with what we have so that we can still serve everybody that we come in contact with. It hasn't been lost over the past decade that the sheriff and Canyon County's commitment to reducing and eliminating the problem in our community. It's something that's in the forefront. For those who commit the crimes, they need to be held accountable. For those who are victimized, they need to be supported. The purple light that we see today, let's that be the victim for our survivors. The blue lights that nobody likes to see, let that be the warning for the offenders. Thank you. Have a great day.
So glad that I got to go after Marv and not the video. It is with honor that I get to stand here today and share a few words about the growth of the 2C Victim Witness Team. When I first started providing victim services in the Canyon County Prosecutor's Office, it was May of 1993. Some of you might not even know the 90s. I was the only one. I was the only victim witness coordinator in Canyon County. And I knew that was not going to work. Unfortunately, this county is so blessed with elected prosecutors and Canyon County commissioners that understood, and to this day still understand, the dynamics of being a victim of a crime and the importance of providing victims services. My first presentation to the Canyon County Commissioners asking for an additional victim witness position for the prosecutor's office was through tears. It wasn't a purposeful tactic, it was pretty much desperation. But fortunately, they understood the language of tears. And since then, quite honestly, it's been a blur. But not only did the Canyon County Prosecuting Attorney's Victim Witness Unit start to grow, law enforcement victim services blossomed. Caldwell Police Department, Canyon County Sheriff's Office, Nampa Police Department all developed victim service programs that are accessible to outlining county law enforcement agencies when needed. Our county grew from 1 victim witness coordinator to 15 victim witness coordinators. And between the 15 of us, there is 191 years and 3 months. Shout out to Ashley Bogart, our newest victim witness coordinator. 191 years and 3 months. And together, we have learned so much. That domestic violence isn't just physical. That on average, it takes a woman 7 attempts before successfully leaving an abusive relationship. The importance of treating victims with respect and dignity. You never know when that number 7 is going to happen. You never know when you are going to be provided that opportunity to give knowledge and support to that same person again. 191 years and 3 months of very dedicated services to victims. And we do not do this as individuals. We do it together. We help each other. We rely on each other. We work together as a team. And this video that you're going to see explains this so much better than any words from me.
Seems to me the sun set too quickly. The darkness hit me all at once. Seems to be a long night ahead of me, much longer now that you're gone. But on the other side of this night, there is a sunrise, burning bright with heaven's light in view. So I'll keep walking hour by hour, 'cause each one brings me closer.
Thank you, Denise. That video was amazing. My name is Ingrid Beatty. I'm from the Canyon County Prosecutor's Office. Brian Taylor couldn't be here today. He's out of town. I just want to start by echoing the sentiment that Denise mentioned about our victim witness coordinators and the critical part that they play in these cases when they come through the criminal justice system. And I say that because I know that so much more of what these situations are about. There's so much more to these situations than just the criminal case. But handling these criminal cases for the last few years has really given me a deep appreciation for the amount of work and effort, and frankly, the amount of courage involved on the part of our law enforcement, our victim witness coordinators, the dedication of our forensic nurses. I think most of us in this line of work know that there is no greater danger to a responding police officer than walking into a domestic violence situation. And our men and women in law enforcement put their lives on the line every single day to walk into those situations, hoping that they can walk alongside a victim as she or he walks out of hell, knowing that maybe they're not quite ready to be out of hell all the way and they might have to go back a few times. I look at our victim witness coordinators, Alicia, Brandy, Denise and her team, the wonderful victim witness coordinators with the Nampa Police Department, Liz with the Caldwell Police Department, we call them victim witness coordinators, but I think they're basically angels on earth because of their patience and their kindness and their compassion and their non-judgment and their heart for helping victims out of these terrible situations and helping them transition into survivors. But I think for me, the most rewarding part of working in domestic violence is seeing the heroism of the victims themselves as they become survivors. They say that the hardest battles that you fight are the ones that nobody sees. And I think that that's, nowhere is that truer than for a victim of domestic violence, because they walk into their home and it's a war zone. And they have to be in survival mode all the time. And for many of them, as we know from the domestic homicides that we've had in the Valley, the decision to leave is a life or death one. And that is one of the reasons why it takes so many attempts. And so when we celebrate people like Candy and Susan, we do it knowing how heroic they are and how many times they had to agonize over these decisions, and just these tiny acts of courage day in and day out and day in and day out. And we applaud you for that. So thank you all for everything you do for victims of domestic violence. It's wonderful to see you all here today. Thank you.
I didn't print off the agenda. I am Tricia Lofton, the Operations Director at Advocates Against Family Violence here in Caldwell. Last year, we provided victim services to about 7,400 victims of domestic violence and sexual assault in Canyon County through all of our different programs. The number continues to rise, and so far this year, we've already passed that 7,400. So we definitely are on the rise. We all play a role in ending domestic violence and sexual violence in our community. The survivors that we see each and every day need our support and not our judgment. Together we can make a difference in the lives of those we serve. And I know at Advocates Against Family Violence, we work really close with victim witness coordinators as well. And there are days when I will call Alicia and say, you will never guess, I need your help. Or I text her and say, can you call me? Are you back? Are you somewhere? So it does take all of us. Over the last couple of years, several of our staff attended the National Advocacy Learning Academy in Minneapolis. And it really changed the way that we provide services. We had to come back and examine everything that we do, down to the classes that we provide, the names of the classes that we provide. We changed even our parenting class to kind of remove that judgment, saying you probably need to take a parenting class because you're not the best parent. We changed it to Bright Beginnings. There, you can start over. Some of those things that we really didn't look at as a program, we came back and re-examined. And it took a lot for our staff to be open to some of those changes because we've been doing the same thing for so long. But the more open we became, I think the more comfortable survivors are working with us and know that they can trust us. So around the room, you will see posters. It is an equality timeline. It starts back in 1700s, goes through 2019. Tiffany is our coordinator, and she was one of the ones that went to the academy. They had one there, and she came back and recreated one and added some things that are local, some things that are happening in Idaho. So we encourage everybody to take some time to look at it. I know we were all looking at it early this morning when we were setting up. Couldn't believe what we saw, which was going on in the 1700s. So take some time to look at it. We will be adding to it, of course, now that we are moving into 2021. But if you have any questions, let us know. And thank you for all the work that everybody does together. And I think with everybody continuing to work, we will make a change in our community and in the lives of those that we serve.
So thank you again for being here and your attention today and the work that you do and echoing what everybody's saying. I just want to, and the advocates and the great work that they're doing. Can we play their video? Let's play their video. Yes. Thank you guys so much for all that you do. The advocates of the Family Justice Center are amazing. And we appreciate the hard work that you invest in all the clients that we have. You treat them with dignity, respect, and kindness. And that is so important and valuable. And I just want you guys to share with us today, what do you like about this job? What is it that makes you excited to come to work every day? What are your thoughts, Johnny?
So there's a lot of things that I love about working at the Family Justice Center. With that being said, the flexibility, culture, and collaboration, but overall how the Justice Center promotes self-care. Every month we have the opportunity to do something fun and educational to help us. Overall, if we don't do self-care, we wouldn't be able to provide the services the way that we should to our clients. So that's what I love about my job.
And building off of what Johnny said, we do a lot of team building activities. We learn each other's strengths. And I love that our center, they value our strengths and want us to develop those. It comes from higher up. It comes from the mayor. It comes from our executive director that they value each of their employees. And we feel so appreciated because of that.
I love the empowerment that we give the families that walk through our doors. They come from such a hopeless place, and then when they find out the resources that might be available to them, it's nice letting them know that you have options. You don't have to stay.
So true. Yeah, and what I love the most is just offering potential and helping them see the potential that they have in themselves.
Awesome.
And with case management, the potential that you see from beginning to end is awesome. So growing with them and just working with them, it's awesome to see.
Yes.
I love to see the clients come in, and when they sit down and going through the traumatized stories and going through that, to be able to really listen to them and they feel like they're being heard and understood and believed. And that's kind of a changing time for them. And their self-worth starts to perk up and you see their journey. And I do love as they continue with us in case management, because then they can really focus on what their needs are and their family, feel loved and valued.
And all this work that you guys are doing is in a collaborative effort, right? You're working with the agencies, You're working together, you're supporting each other, and that's what makes a difference. So thank you guys so much for all that you do. You are fantastic.
Hi, I'm Kim Dugan, Executive Director at Advocates Against Family Violence, and I have to say the best part of my job is knowing that lives are being changed because of the work that we do. They come in broken and tattered and they leave absolute survivors. The best part is that we can continue to work with them and create thrivers in our community.
Hi, I'm Tricia Lofton. I am the Operations Director at Advocates Against Family Violence. I have been working here for about 16 years, and I would have to say the best part of my job is being here to help survivors and being the support system and the voice until they are able to find theirs.
Hi, my name is Heidi Reese. I am the Development Director for Advocates Against Family Violence. The reason for my why is because I am a survivor of domestic violence myself. I lived 25 years in a domestic violence relationship and went through all of the abuse that you can possibly imagine. My passion for Advocates Against Family Violence is to be here and to know what these women and children go through on a daily basis when they live in a domestic violence home. My passion for AAFB is to be here and to build the relationships outside in the community and to spread the awareness of what we do and the programs that we provide here for the community. The reason for my why is so I can be here to be an advocate and a voice for the women that live a life of domestic violence each and every day. And that my hope is to be able to instill in them that there is a way out and they're able to live a life free of violence and live a life with their children and to be happy and whole. Thank you.
The darkness hit me all at once. Seems to be a long night ahead of me, much longer now that you're gone. But on the other side of this night, there is a sunrise, burning bright with heaven's light in view. So I'll keep walking hour by hour, 'cause each one brings me closer. And on the other side is you. Seems to me we were made for each other. We shield one another from pain. Seems to be.
So just to close up today, we are doing the Shine the Light of domestic violence for October. We have purple light bulbs back there that we were asking if you guys would take it home or tell your neighbors or whomever wants to shine the light in our community of the purple. You can take off your white one, put the purple for October. They're not going to cost anything to anybody. We have more at the Nampa Family Justice Center and at the Nampa Police Department. So please take those and spread that awareness. And thank you, advocates. Thank you, victim witness coordinators, and thank you all law enforcement and everyone that's doing this work, prosecutors and everyone doing this work, for all you are doing. Man, it is sacrificial, and we really appreciate you. And one last thing, we have stickers too. Hey, have you ever seen Dutch Brothers stickers? They people put it on their little water bottles and stuff. So we created a Shine the Light sticker, and you can take that, put them on your water bottles, because it is about domestic violence awareness. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for coming.